time for the Trump campaign. Trump had just survived this assassination attempt. He was understandably very jarred, very rattled from it. He called a friend the day after the shooting, and he said that if the bullet had come within a hair closer, his brain would have exploded like a watermelon on live television. He was very afraid. After that, the shooting, understandably so, for his life. He wondered a lot about staging for events. And then he was rattled about Biden getting out of the race and having this new opponent. And sometimes this manifested itself in Trump going off script, like he did at the National Association of Black Journalists meeting, such as when he went after Brian Kemp in Georgia. There was a month there where Trump was really off script for the first time. He had run this very disciplined campaign, and for the first time, things didn't look good for him in that month. But then afterwards, when you got out of July, when you got out of August, Trump found his footing again, and he was able to defeat Kamala Harris. The final few weeks of the race, Trump was concerned. He definitely had some jitters, but things definitely turned around from him from there.
Interesting.
Talk a little bit about the Elon Musk relationship, which has come to be like the most central dynamic of Trump 2.0, which is, I think, not something that many people truly expected. Although if you just look at the sheer amount of dollars that he put into the race, perhaps it should have been better anticipated. How did that romance begin? Because he had not only previously supported Ron DeSantis, I mean, he and Obama were buddies. Obama's administration gave him some critical loans to Tesla at an important time in his career. He'd previously been more inclined towards the Democratic Party. So what built that relationship? And then as a corollary, were you surprised to see Elon be so central, hog so much attention, and for Trump to be like pretty subservient to him?
It was one of those gradual things, the Elon-Trump relationship. One of the interesting things I talk about in this book is that Elon actually played a role in getting J.D. Vance picked for vice president. And that was one of the first big roles that Elon played on the race. And one of the things that Elon told Trump right after the assassination attempt in Butler, which was right before J.D. Vance was picked, was that he told Trump that if you pick someone who hails from the establishment, quote unquote, deep state part of the Republican Party, that will give the deep state or the establishment more incentive to try to kill you again. And so Elon Musk was one of the last people to give Trump advice before he picked J.D. Vance, and he waited for J.D. Vance.
Let me just real quick on that before you finish your answer, because that's very interesting nugget that I didn't realize. What do you think it was that made Elon want J.D. to be on the ticket? I understand how he pitched it to Trump, because at the surface level, they actually seem to have some, ideological distinctions. J.D. Vance has, pitched himself more in the Trumpian sort of like populist nationalist lane. Elon is more of this I would say tech feudalist, like Javier Milei, anarcho-capitalist type. So why was he so interested in having J.D. Vance on the ticket?
The bottom line is that they both hail from the same kind of tech wing of the party. And Elon Musk is really close to a guy named David Sachs, who I'm sure a lot of your viewers and listeners will know. He's a guy, he actually has his own podcast. It's called All In, and he's a big player in Silicon Valley. J.D. Vance is also close to David Sachs, as is Elon Musk. And so that was a really big connector in this. And then there were just other tech players, and that sort of served as a connection point between the two of them.
Interesting. Alex, we're continuing in this vein because you have also covered campaign finance really well. What do you make of the influence of Elon's money in the campaign? How determinative was it actually, as somebody who's covered this for many years?
Yeah, I mean, he gave Trump essentially a $250 million infusion, and that's really important, and the role he played was important because Elon Musk's operation was focused on ground game and getting out the vote, not so much on TV ads, but mostly on ground game and getting out the vote. And so when Elon first started doing this, when his super PAC really first kicked up its operations, there were a lot of questions about the strength of Trump's ground game door knocking effort. And so Elon Musk put in a lot of money to help solve that problem. And that was really important because there were a lot of concerns in Trump's campaign and in the broader Republican world that Democrats, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, were just simply more organized in terms of getting out the vote.
Yes.
Do you think that Trump thinks Elon is the reason he won?
I don't think so. I think Trump thinks he's the reason he won. Trump always sees himself as being the primary player, the main driver of things. And so he definitely is appreciative of Elon Musk and what he did, but he sees himself as the guy who won this race for 100% sure.
And so why do you think he has had such a different relationship with Elon than he has with anyone else? Where, Elon's there holding court in the Oval Office in a t-shirt and a hat. Elon is taking control. Elon is, putting out the messaging. Elon's creating political problems for Trump. And he's never really checked. I mean, we did have the secret cabinet meeting where apparently he said, okay, these guys are in charge. But it has been much more deferential than we've ever seen Trump be towards anyone else. Like, to what do you ascribe that?
Well, look, Elon plays by a different set of rules. You're 100% right. He is more deferential to Elon than he would be to really any other cabinet member or any other staffer that Trump has ever had in his 2 terms in the White House. But look, Elon's a different kind of player. He's worth, several $100 billion at this point. And when you have that kind of money, it gives you enormous amount of power. It gives you the ability to go do whatever you want. He can go set up a super PAC. He could go back to his businesses. And so Trump has a lot less leverage over Elon Musk than he does a typical cabinet member. Elon's wealth gives him an enormous amount of power, an enormous amount of sway over politics. And so Trump's got to be a little careful in terms of how he handles Elon Musk.
Interesting. All right. Well, I trust you, Alex, and everyone should go out and buy the book. We appreciate you joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.